Right now on Hoosier News Source, former IU Police Chief Jill Lees has been out at IUPD for several weeks, but we are now getting answers as to why. We break down the federal lawsuit that started it all.
Next time you dial 911, it might not be a uniformed officer that answers your call. Ahead, what Bloomington's mayor is looking to change when it comes to first responders. Those stories and more are straight ahead, but we begin with another uptick in reported sexual assaults on campus. Hello, and thanks for being with us. I'm Grace Morocco.
And I'm Carson Johnson. IUPD says they received 2 rape reports on Monday, one at Teter Quad and the other at McNutt. The rape at McNutt occurred on August 16th during Welcome Week, while the rape at Teter occurred just a few days ago on September 14th. In both cases, the suspect is unknown and the case has been passed off to university officials for review. This brings the total number of reported sexual assaults so far this year to 7.
After initially refusing to make any public comment on the sudden and unannounced departure of the now former IUPD police chief, IU has confirmed what led up to her leaving. Court documents from a now settled federal lawsuit say a 2022 dispute over an unpaid parking ticket involving 2 IUPD officers violated the rights of a graduate student. The lawsuit claims the officers tracked down the student to his apartment and used unnecessary force to make a false arrest. Former Chief Lees conducted a review in October and ruled that no wrongdoing had occurred and no disciplinary actions was necessary. IU says they conducted a thorough review and found that Lees did not follow mandatory review protocols and that the officers violated IUPD policies. In a statement, IU said, quote, "We are deeply saddened by the behavior and actions that took place and offer our sincere apology to the individual and to our community. Indiana University holds our staff, faculty, and leadership to the highest standards of ethical conduct and integrity, including IUPD," end quote. Brad Seifers is serving as interim chief for the Bloomington division until a replacement for Jill Lees is announced.
Indiana Attorney General Todd Rokita is facing disciplinary action from a state commission for violating rules of professional conduct. The complaint stems from comments Rokita made last year about Dr. Caitlin Bernard. She's the IU Health OBGYN who performed an abortion on a 10-year-old rape victim who traveled from Ohio to receive care. Rokita called Bernard, quote, "an abortion activist who acted as a doctor." The commission said Rokita was out of line by making public statements about the case before filing a formal complaint. The case now heads to the Indiana Supreme Court.
Get a good look at your screen. IUPD needs your help finding a car that hit and injured a pedestrian back in August. Police reported via Twitter back in August 29th that a car struck a pedestrian at the intersection of 17th Street and Eagleson Avenue. IUPD is still on the search for the vehicle nearly a month later and is asking for the public to stay on the lookout. Police do not know the make or model of the car. If you or someone you know witnessed the pedestrian get hit, contact IUPD.
A Greene County woman was killed in a head-on crash Friday along State Road 45. The Monroe County Sheriff's Office says the crash happened around 11:30. Witnesses told the police that a car was going west on State Road 45 and went left of center, hitting a car going east. The driver of the eastbound car was pronounced dead at the scene. The crash remains under investigation.
A group of IU students are working with Heroines, a media advertising agency in Indianapolis, to bring awareness to the 988 suicide crisis line. The line was first developed in 2022 and is designed for people to call as a resource in times of mental health crisis. Team of students like the ones at IU are working on advertising campaigns to inform college-age students about the necessary mental health resource.
We're really just trying to make sure that people are aware it even exists.
Yeah, and just spread awareness throughout the university as a whole, because like Lainey said, like the age demographic of college students is shown to have the highest suicide rates. So kind of just like making this demographic of people at IU aware that 988 exists.
Look out for more 988 awareness at the Bluebird Cafe, Gables Bagels, and more local businesses around Bloomington. For more information on the 988 suicide crisis line, visit 988lifeline.org.
Now when you call 911 in an emergency, it might not always be a police officer that responds to your issue. Instead, it might just be a community service specialist. Bloomington Mayor John Hamilton wants these employees to respond to non-emergency situations that typical officers usually would, such as noise complaints, property damages, and crashes, among other issues. The change will help police officers respond faster to other higher priority arrests across the city. The change came as a result of the staffing shortage BPD is currently experiencing and its new budget for the next year.
IU's Kelley School of Business continues to make rankings as U.S. News ranks the school 8th in the overall best undergraduate business programs. But that's not the only top 10 ranking Kelley has gained this week. U.S. News also declared the program to be number 4 among public schools and number 1 in the state of Indiana. 8 of the school's specialty programs are ranked in the top 10 and 9 are in the top 15. The undergrad business program has been ranked consistently in the top 10 over the last few years.
The Hamilton Lugar School of Global and International Studies has kicked off the search for the school's new dean. A search committee has been put into place to help aid the search. The Hamilton Lugar School website says they are looking for an eminent and accomplished leader. The school has had struggles holding a long-term dean since their founding dean, Lee Feinstein, stepped down from his position in January of 2022.
Still ahead, the case of the missing F-35 fighter jet. Search crews finding debris nearly a day after the pilot ejected from the plane.
Plus, back on American soil, 5 American hostages imprisoned in Iran make a return home. Details about the release when Hoosier News Source continues.
Bloomington's Eastside AMC 11 closed its doors last week. AMC did not return our request for comments on the closing. The theater showed its last film on September 15th. The last scheduled film at the theaters was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. Bloomington's West Side Theater AMC Classic Bloomington 12 is still open for business, along with AMC's location in Columbus and Indianapolis. Indiana University Athletics has released their first ever branded beer. This all comes after Upland Brewing Company asked more than 10,000 IU fans for feedback on the name, flavor, and can design. The beer comes in, of course, a cream and crimson striped can and is named the Hoosier Game Day Lager. You can grab the limited edition beer anywhere Upland Brewing is normally sold, including this season at Memorial Stadium and Assembly Hall. A portion of all the sales will go towards student scholarships.
Search teams located parts of the F-35 fighter jet that went missing over South Carolina on Sunday. The aircraft went missing for more than a day after the pilot ejected because of an unknown problem. The U.S. military says the autopilot was still enabled, causing it to continue flying. There is no word on if the plane caused any damage or injuries on the ground. The investigation into what happened is still underway. 5 Americans that were imprisoned in Iran are back on American soil. The prisoners have all been in Iran for more than 5 years in what the Biden administration has called a wrongful detainment. The prisoners were freed as part of a wider deal that includes the U.S. unfreezing $6 billion in Iranian funds. The Biden administration says Iran can only use the money for humanitarian purposes and will be monitored by the U.S. government.
The president's son, Hunter Biden, is suing the IRS for claims the agency unlawfully disclosed his tax return information. Hunter Biden says they failed to protect his private records. The lawsuit cites disclosures by 2 agents in congressional testimony and interviews. Hunter Biden hopes to take back all of the documents involved, as well as $1,000 for each unauthorized disclosure. Next on Hoosier News Source, a new study links obesity to heart attacks. That and more in this week's Hoosier Health Headlines, when the news continues. Welcome back. Here's a look at the stories in this week's Hoosier Health Headlines. A new study finds that obesity is linked to increased cardiac deaths in the last 2 decades. Research published in the Journal of American Heart Association says obesity-related heart attacks in adults has tripled since 2000. But heart disease death fell 18% at the same time. The CDC says that there are about 115 million people in the U.S. who are obese. The American Cross is asking you to consider donating blood as the nonprofit is facing a shortage. The emergency blood supply is currently considered critically low. Supply levels are down 25%, pointing to a drop in donations. The American Red Cross provides about 40% of blood to the nation's hospitals.
Turning to weather now, the forecast has been absolutely gorgeous lately.
Alyssa Heilman is in with the forecast. Hi, Alyssa.
That's right, we've got some more of that beautiful weather happening for us today. We're seeing clear skies and warm temperatures, with our daily high being 81 degrees around 4 p.m. As the day progresses, it's going to cool off to some fall-like temperatures. Let's take a look at our forecast for Saturday when IU football faces Akron at Memorial Stadium. There will be full sun and low 70s for those early tailgaters. Then a few clouds come in and temperatures increase into the 80s by 3 p.m. We start to cool off as we near game time with a beautiful 75 degrees and relatively clear skies. It's perfect fall football weather for the first day of fall. Enjoy your warm day. Fall is nearly upon us.
Thank you, Alyssa. Next in sports, week 3 of college football is in the books. IU football looks like it may be finding its stride. Tanaya Jones is in with sports after this.
We are back after last weekend showing the Hoosiers fell short to Louisville and it didn't look too good for Indiana. Let's take a look at this week's playback. On third down, Teter Jackson, he throws it straight over to the middle and it's caught by Donovan McCulley, climbing the ladder in the midfield for first down. Gearing up for the next play, Jackson launches it on a third down through the hands. The ball is intercepted by Kelley for Louisville. It's third quarter and IU is making big plays. Teter Jackson with the throw out right to Jalen Lucas as he pumps the gas on this catch, barreling down across the 35-yard line of the first down. It's recovery time for the Hoosiers. Although they've been down all game, plays still have to be made. Indiana moving down the field, avoiding the turnover. Bow! Jackson follows through and touchdown for the Hoosiers. Jalen Lucas protecting the rock and bringing it home. Score 21-14 in Saturday's matchup against Louisville, an upsetting night for Indiana football. On a brighter note, coming up for week 5, the Hoosiers go on to play Akron this Saturday at 7:30 p.m. right here at Memorial Stadium.
Alyssa has one last check on the weather. I heard this coming week looks pretty good. Alyssa?
Our outlook for this week is very similar to what we're experiencing today. We've got mostly sunny skies that we're expecting for the rest of the week, except for a quick chance of rain on Monday morning. That precipitation should halt by the afternoon, but the gloomy skies will stick around Tuesday, which then brings full sun. We've got highs in the 80s all through the week and into the weekend, where it starts cooling down on Sunday. This is likely some of the last summer heat we'll see this year, so you go out and enjoy it.
All right, thank you, Alyssa, and thank you for watching this week's Hoosier News Source.
As always, be sure to follow us on social media and check out IUSTV.com to stay up to date on all the latest news, weather, and sports.
Have a great rest of the week, and we'll see you back here next week.